All right, what's going on, guys? All right, we just got out of another war. Sad to say, we did take a loss. You know what? They weren't exactly the best of clans, but we got to give them props. They did win. But I felt like this was more our own shortcoming as opposed to their skill. We just had one of those wars where things tend to not go right. Um, you know, it just happens. So, but one of the things is as I had mentioned is pretty much after a few wars, there's some things that we kind of want to go over as a clan, and just so that they're just little things that we can work on to help our attacks. And last week or last video, it was the double poison, and this one and last war we had thought about it, but one of the things we wanted to look at was how we're using our golems. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of times there's a way to use golems and get good efficiency out of them, because golems are a very, very powerful tanking troop. They're the most powerful ground taking troop in the game. So when you use golems, it's important to understand why they tend to be a better tanking troop as opposed to giants, or well, as opposed to giants primarily, or even say a P.E.K.K.A. or something like that that has a high health. Even Valks have some high health. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and tell these guys that they're being on YouTube here, but so you guys, that most of the guys that are gonna watch this are from the clan, so they can kind of see um, whatchamacallit, that they're on here. But all right, so I'm gonna get back into this. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about, and the basic idea of the golems and their efficient use is. The first question you need to ask yourself is, and this can go for any sort of attack, that you're going to be using golems, which, for our clan, a lot of our attacks are based off of golems, unless it's a Town Hall 7, but we have a lot of Town Hall 8s that use GoWiPe. We have a lot of Town Hall 9s that either use GoWiPe or GoVape or GoHo, and anytime you're running those types of attacks, golems are being used. So the first thing you always want to look at is, how many golems am I going to bring? Then once you have established, and most oftentimes whenever you're using a GoWiPe, whether you're at Town Hall 8, it's 2 golems. When you're at Town Hall 9, it can be 2, 3, or 4, depending on, what attack you're bringing. But the way, I'm sorry about that, let me go back to that. The way to get efficiency out of them is you count how many golems you need, how many single target defenses. And when I'm talking about single target defenses, I'm talking about X-bows, Teslas, cannons, and X-bows, Teslas, cannons, and archer towers. Those are single target defenses, and then infernos if you're a Town Hall 10. But primarily I'm focusing on Town Hall 8, Town Hall 9, Town Hall 10s. I'm not I've never been there. It's only theoretical at this point, but a lot of the principles apply when I'm talking about golems and the efficiency. After you've established how many single target defenses are targeting each golem, you can kind of get an idea of how long that golem is going to last, and how many wizards you'll kind of need to back him up so that you can keep that particular golem alive longer. And then that answers the question, how many wizards? And then you want to look at where do you want to wall breaker or jump in if you have the jump spell. And we'll be talking about the sequence of deployment. Most oftentimes, to get the best efficiency is you drop your golems or golem, and then your wizards. And then what you want to do is you allow your wizards to take out the first line of defenses that the golems are taking, and then you either wall breaker or jump in. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys why that is. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of the bases and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, so that when you go check out a base and understand that I'm not just saying this just to try and change the way you guys attack. I'm trying to do it so that you guys can look at this and understand where I'm coming from. Every attack can vary, and you don't have to follow this, but most of the time this is going to be an efficient way of how to use golems, and you may end up getting more out of your GoWiPe or your GoWiPe or your GoVape, your GoHo, if you just follow this procedures. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at this base real quick, number 16. And look, this is one of those it's a little bit Dragonflower-esque, I guess, a Town Hall 8, or it's kind of Chief Pat. It's got these little things with these little rectangular compartments, and then it's got like kind of a big rectangle in the core, and then a small right around the town hall. And this is a pretty common base. You see these types of bases, and they typically work pretty well. But when you're looking at this base, this is what you gotta do. Say you're bringing a GoWiPe, watch, and you want to come in from, let's say you want to come in and you're trying to make your push through this area here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a screenshot really quick. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into Paint. Give me a second, guys. Go ahead and go into Paint here. And I'm going to paste this. All right. So let's say you want to do something where, you're using two golems. You're doing a GoWiPe, right? And you're like, you know what? I want to bring some golems in. I'm going to drop. And here's the thing. So you're looking at it, and when I'm looking at the base, let's say you wanted to drop a golem in. Oh, let's make this much bigger. Say you wanted to drop in two golems right here. Well, if you drop in two golems right here, they're both going to come right here and try and bang away. And if that happens, if you're doing that, what ends up happening is, check this out. Whenever you click on these defenses, anything that's in their range, the golem is going to tank. So rather than dropping two golems right on that same tile, what you do is you come in here, and instead of doing this, Paint's not really a great one because it's going to erase the original. But let's do this. New. Don't save. And let's paste again. And now I'll get there. And we're good. That should be good, right? And there we go. Size, big one. Color. So rather than do that, let's drop a golem here, and then let's drop a golem here. Alright. And then that'll run this way. That'll run that way. And then what you're going to end up doing now is you're going to end up tanking for, let's see here, you're going to end up tanking for this defense, this defense, this defense, and this defense. And this mortar. So this golem's going to be taking 2-point defenses. This one's going to be taking 2-point defenses and a mortar. Okay, so that's nice. That's a good situation to be in. You know, that's a good whatchamacallit, way to look at the base and kind of move through. So by spreading them out that way, you can get more point defenses down rather than dropping them at one spot. And that's pretty, you know, that's pretty common knowledge. That's not anything that people don't know. But here's the other thing. So when I start, what you want to do is you want to start dropping these wizards like so. I'm going to do this color here. I'm not sure why it's making this blue. And I want that color. Yeah, I'm just not sure why it's making. Either way, I'll go ahead and I'll use I don't know why it doesn't want to give me a white. I'll go ahead and use I'll use this like yellow orangish color. I'm gonna drop in a wizard here. I can, oh, fine, it's going with red. I don't know what's going on, but either way, what you want to do is you want to try and be efficient with your wizards. So you want to drop one here, one here, one here. If you see storages, a lot of times you want to get those down kind of quick. So you can drop 2, 3. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now check that out. Now, all it takes is 8 wizards here. So a lot of times when you're doing a GoWiPe, you're bringing something like, if you're a Town Hall 8, you know, something in the neighborhood of, you know, 16 wizards. Sometimes you're bringing, you know, 20 wizards. It all depends on how many P.E.K.K.A.s, how many golems you decided to bring. But either way, you can accomplish what needs to be accomplished in this initial part of the raid with 8 wizards. And get really good value out of it. Now, one mistake that not necessarily a mistake, but one thing that I see is that you know, a lot of guys, they'll drop their golems, boom, boom. And then what ends up happening is they want to get those wall breakers in right away. And they drop the wall breakers there, because remember, they're looking at making a push through the base like this. You know, they're doing this number. Well, what ends up happening is they drop their golems, boom, boom, and then they drop their wall breakers next. And guess what? These wall breakers then, these golems then do, wow, I can't even get it to do the right color. These wall breakers, well then, I guess I gotta do it. They'll reroute because then this defense is in an open area. And they'll both end up on this defense right here. And what happens is, if they end up on that defense, well now, this cannon is no longer in range. This archer tower's in range. And this archer tower's in range. But that cannon is now no longer in range. And I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry, guys. Look, the golems will be sitting right there and will be out of range of that cannon. Now what happens is, what's most likely going to happen is you're going to drop those wizards that are right here. And guess what? That cannon is going to start targeting all your wizards. And then you never get these buildings down or this cannon down. And your cannon just ends up roasting some wizards. So what you want to do is, rather than, let's go ahead and do it. Don't save. I'm going to repaste this again. What you want to do is, seems like I'm only going to get one color out of this. So you're dropping in your golems here, and they're moving in. Golem here, it's moving in. Then you want to do wizard, 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 1, 2, wizard, wizard, wizard. So you got 8 wizards. What you want to do is you want to let this building go down. I'm going to go ahead and put this in red, because red means, you know, it's down, 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 down. Okay. Once this line of trash buildings is down, your wizards are then going to step up and hit the closest building. Now this is where you got to work on a little bit of timing. Once these wizards start to work on these buildings here, you want to wait till they get this first layer, and it's not going to be that archer tower, but it's going to be this, and this. You want to try and wait or get really close. When they get really close to being dead, this line of buildings should be really close to dead before you get the wall breakers and get them in right here. And the reason that I say that is because look, if you were to, let's just say you wanted a split wall breaker and you wanted to come in here and here, wall breakers would go up, you'd be tanking, right? Wizard tower would be archer tower cannon would be locking on. But what happens if there was a Tesla right here? If there was a Tesla right here and a Tesla right here, and you wall breakered in and this golem went up further in, that Tesla would pop, and it would pop up, and then now you also have a Tesla sitting there beating on your golems while these wizards are still working back here. So that's why you always want to wait for your wall breakers or your jump spell, for instance, until you've got this layer, this first line of buildings that's being tanked by your golems. And it's just a way of looking at the base in lines or rows of buildings. You're looking at, this is the first row, that outer row of trash. This is the first inner row. Then you can move on to, okay, so what's going to happen once they start moving into this line of, and then this line, and then this line, like that. And you can start to come up with plans on how to deal with each row of defenses or each section of defenses. And then you begin to see your attack in a much deeper fashion. So I want to go ahead and kind of give you guys a display of what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to toot my own horn on here, because if I'm being quite honest, on my first attack I didn't do this well. So even as a co-leader or somebody that understands these rules and principles, I still can make errors, or there's still room for improvement, and I can make errors. So I understand that this isn't something that you just pick up overnight, but it is, however, something that as a clan we can work on to improve our attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I decided to come in with a GoHo, but I want 2 golems. And look, this is kind of like another similar style base, except there's more compartments in the middle. See, this got these rectangular compartments on the side, these kind of rectangular corners like that, and then it's got, just more compartments in the core, more sections in the core, so it makes it a little more difficult. But I brought a GoHo, but the beginning portion of my raid is no different than if I was a Town Hall 8 or anything like that, whether it's a jump or a wall breaker. I'm going to go ahead and get into this. I'm going to show you guys. Well, real quick first, I want to show you guys where I wanted to come in. I wanted to come in from this side, and I wanted to get my golem. My primary focus was to get this queen down, the king down, and I wanted to get kind of this row right here, and this. That was the goal of my golems and my wizards and my king and my queen. and I think 2 Valks. So when I was looking at this, I figured, okay, I'm gonna drop a golem right here, and why do I want one right there? Well, look at it. If I drop one right there and it sits right here on this tile and wants to break in, it's gonna be tanking for that defense, that mortar, that wizard tower, that cannon, that archer tower. Primarily I'm looking at though the archer tower, and cannon. Those are the ones that are really going to do some damage. So if I drop 1, 2, 3 wizards, and then I come over here, I could do the same thing. Golem, 1, 2, 3 wizards. And I was thinking, well, what am I going to do for this section? Well, I mean, that thing's going to really be hitting it. That's going to be tanked. That's going to be tanked. So if I just go, I only really need 3 wizards. I could probably drop a couple minions here rather than 2 wizards. So I saved myself 4 troop space there. And I can drop my archer queen because everything on this, and this that's in range is being tanked by my golems. So I'm good. You know, maybe if a Tesla pops right here, I might be screwed, but this was a cleanup attack, so I knew the Teslas were right here in between the Expo and air defense, and right here in between Expo and air defense. So watch the sequence of how I did this, and the patience. Well, here the patience that I'm showing for this kill squad that I'm bringing, the golems and wizards that I'm bringing, and I'm doing my own lesson on the double poison. So I go ahead, I get my double poison. I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this. And once that dragon starts to get closer to down, I will go ahead and back out. Okay, boom. Okay, pause. All right, check this out. I'm gonna bring a max golem right here, and I wait till everything starts to lock onto it, and then I bring in my wizards. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Drop that archer queen down. Then I go golem. 1, 2, 3. Couple minions. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so right now you would think, okay, about right now is when I need a wall breaker or jump in. No, I'm waiting for these buildings to go down. I want these buildings to go down before, or get close to being down before I start moving in. And that's exactly what happens. Now, if I had rushed that jump spell, both of these golems would have been moving over here, and none of these buildings would have gone down. So that's the benefit of having patience. Now, if I had jumped in too soon, this king and that queen would have started banging on my golems, and they would have not lasted. So you may think that by waiting longer to wall breaker or jump spell in, that you're not providing your golems with the right amount of coverage to make them last longer, but it's actually the opposite. The longer and the more patient you wait for your wizards to take out this one row, and see, I still missed the wizard tower, but I was primarily gunning for point defenses. Remember, when you're doing a GoWiPe or a GoHo, most of the time what you're focusing on is point defenses. If this was a GoWiPe, I would really want that wizard tower down too. Sorry guys, excuse me. But I'm primarily focused on GoWiPe right now, or a GoHo or a GoVape, for instance. So I waited, those buildings were just about down, and once I did that, then I was able to drop that jump spell, and then I got everything moving into the core. And now look, what I've done now is that's being tanked by my golem. This golem is tanking that archer tower. So when I send in, if I was doing a GoWiPe, my king or my P.E.K.K.A.s or a P.E.K.K.A, now I have less defenses that could potentially start attacking my P.E.K.K.A s, wizards, or golems. And those are the P.E.K.K.A s and wizards. And those are the big damage dealers. You want your golems tanking. And also, your golems will end up taking less damage because now you've taken out some of the buildings that would have stayed alive had we been impatient and not taking those buildings down. So that's the whole goal behind it. And the method is, again, the sequence is you drop your golems and then you drop wizards. or your, archer queen, whatever you need to do, and then you let them work, let them do their thing, and then wall breaker in or jump spell in. Now I'm going to show you guys one. I think, was it Mike? And Mike, don't think I'm trying to pick on you here, brother. I think it was Mike's. Let's see here. Was it Mike's? So Mike brings the quad quick. Okay, so he gets. So right here, he's going for that double poison, getting that troop down. And okay, I'm gonna go ahead and one exit. So now he's bringing these golems, and see, check this out. Because he was actually able to quake in right here. What you know what he could have done? He could have, and the quad quake on this worked, but now all his golems, they immediately went inwards, and then they go outwards, and it kind of creates a situation that it doesn't create really good pathing for it. And see, now all these wizards are sitting out here with no tanking, and they're just being hit. Same with the P.E.K.K.A. Now the P.E.K.K.A. Actually, I think he wanted to make the P.E.K.K.A. walk, but that's a situation that it maybe could have been improved upon. Let me show you guys another one. There was another one that somebody did. I don't think it was Opum. It was not Brandon's. Was it Mungo's? I think it was Mungo. Yes, I think it was Mungo. And I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a good example. So he's using that double poison. Very good. 1, 5, and boom, he drops it. Good job to Mungo. So here you go. Oh no. Yes, so look, he wall breakers in right away. So now what ends up happening is his wall, look at all this time is being spent, and he hasn't gotten his wizards down yet. They're not doing anything. And also he just introduced that wizard tower. And then look at this. Now they got that one building down, and guess what? Now this cannon is starting to hit on him. Whereas if he had waited to get on these corners, and then brought the wizards down, and then afterwards decided to wall breaker in, he probably would have gotten more efficiency. And guess what? That archer tower would have gone down. And so now that pesky archer tower that's sitting there beating on his king would have been down way before he ever executed the raid. And you know what, guys? This was a 3-star raid. This is a good attack. I'm not trying to tell you guys that Mungo's method is wrong. What I'm telling you is that there is a way to be efficient in by using golems, and everybody's trying to improve. Everybody's trying to get do the best they can, and what ends up happening is, sometimes you just don't, maybe you don't have time to plan the raid, or B, maybe you've just never heard of these things. And that's our goal, is to try and get that information out there, so that when you're looking at these sorts of attacks, you can be like, oh, okay, rather than wall breaker in right away, I can, let these guys work a little bit and get more efficiency out of your troops. And, sometimes that efficiency can be the difference between a 2-star and a 3-star, or a 1-star and a 2-star. We're just all trying to improve. We're all trying to, do as much as we can as leaders to give you the most information, and let you guys be knowledgeable, so that you guys can come up with the best attack that you guys can, and improve on your skills. So I think I pretty much covered what it was I was trying to get across. Like I'm telling you guys, it's usually better to to hold those wall breakers, to be patient with that jump spell, so that you get more efficiency out of your golems. I can't stress that enough. And like I said, every attack is different. Every raid can be different. And sometimes, like I will say on Mike's, I think that his use of the quad quake was excellent. And him using it at that point, he got a ton of value out of it. He opened up a lot of the base. However, I think if he could have been able to drop those golems, done his attack, and then quad quake the middle exactly the way that he was able to, and created that streamlined path into the base, he might have got a little bit better pathing, and it might have taken less time, and he might have introduced less point defenses to his golems at a later point, which in turn would have meant that they had more health. So I think that was it, guys. That's all I really wanted to get across. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to that review sheet that I was talking about. Just the efficient use, how many golems, how many single target defenses are targeting each golem, how many wizards do you really need on that kill score for that initial wave push, and then where do you want a wall breaker or jump in, and then following that sequence. Most oftentimes where you drop your golems, then your wizards fast, and then you allow your wizards to take out first line of defenses that the golems are tanking, then you wall breaker or jump in. And I think with that you'll see some improvement in your raids. I think that you'll start to look at bases a little bit differently. Maybe you're now seeing different layers of the base. So that you can improve on your attacks. And guys, these things all translate from Town Hall 8 all the way to Town Hall 11 now. Anytime you're looking at raids like this, you're kind of looking at this this portion of the mechanics of the game. So anything you guys can do to improve on it will be beneficial now and down the line, as well as just make you an overall better attacker. So if you guys liked any of this or have any questions or comments, go ahead, leave them on YouTube, ask on Kick. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you guys information. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys. Hope you guys like it. This is JL from Ares Acolytes.